shit, yeah, they bread stank. Walk up in the club, dripping like I'm fresh paint. I can see through the facade like an x-ray.
What's going on, fight fans? It's another great day when you love MMA. Welcome back to Mad Matty Fight Talk, episode 11. We hit the double digits and it's only getting better from here. This episode, we're going to be doing a fight prediction and breakdown of UFC 263. That's going to be the main event of Israel Adesayna versus Marvin Vittori 2. It's a rematch from not so long ago. Let's get on into it. First fight on the main card. It's going to be basically what I think is going to be a grappler versus a striker. It's going to be Paul Craig versus Jamahal Hill. This fight could be really good. Paul Craig has some really good stand-up, but he's a really, really good grappler. Jamahal Hill on the other side, if he lays his hands on you, he could possibly drop you and knock you out immediately. And I'm not saying Craig can't land shots. I'm just saying I don't think his shots are going to hurt Jamahal Hill the way that Hill's would hurt Paul Craig's. Craig, what he needs to do in his fight is basically get it to the ground and make it a grappling match. He needs to just drown this guy for as long as it takes to get a submission victory and, you know, ground and pound and work from there. I think Jamahal Hill clearly needs to keep this fight on the feet. He has better stand-up, in my eyes, than Paul Craig does. It's just a little bit more on his combinations, and he looks like he lands a little bit harder. If I have to go cash versus trash for this first matchup on the main card, I'm definitely crumpling up Paul Craig. I'm going to toss him in the trash can. I think Jamahal Hill is going to get an upset knockout. I think a lot of people are going for Paul Craig in this fight because he's shown a lot, and he's a really good grappler. But I do think Jamahal Hill is going to lay it down. I think he's going to land heavy right off the bat, and I think that's going to cause Paul Craig to force his game plan a little bit more. So I do think cash versus trash for this one. I'm taking my money and I'm putting it down on Jamahal Hill. I think he's going to win. I'm not sure if it's going to be a knockout or a TKO, but I do think a second round finish is coming his way. For me, guys, this next fight on the main card, 8th ranked Demian Maia taking on 12th ranked Belal Muhammad. That's one of my favorite fights on this fight card. I definitely will be tuning in for this one. It's very interesting to me. You know, Belal Muhammad's shown a lot of toughness, durability, and heavy hands, and all around game. You know, he reminds me of like a Matt Hughes with better striking. I don't know if his wrestling's that good, but he's so hard to get positioning on, and he's very dominant in his fights. Demian Maia, on the other hand, super good jiu-jitsu, super good finisher, unbelievable on the ground. And this guy has fought everybody. He's fought Anderson Silva for the middleweight title back in the day. I'm not saying he had much success, but he got to fight Anderson Silva and get the experience. He's faced top-level dudes his entire time at 170. Belal Muhammad, he's looking for that breakthrough fight. He's looking for a big-name guy or somebody who's established. He tried to get this on Leon Edwards. You know, there was an eye poke. No contest happened. So he's been having to wait his chance too. He's waiting for a guy like Demian Maia. This is going to be a really good matchup. I think these guys actually stylistically match up pretty well. I don't think Demian Maia is going to have immediate success on the ground against a guy like Belal Muhammad. I think Belal is going to be very aggressive with his ground and pound. I think he likes to pass positioning. I think he's one of those guys that, you know, he fits the game plan like Tyron Woodley did against Demian Maia to possibly beat him. So, you know, this is a very close fight for me. I think that this might be a 3-round decision or it's going to be a finish. If I got to go cash versus trash on this, I think the finish is going to come from Demian Maia. I think 8th ranked Demian Maia is going to show why he's in the top 10, why he's been in the game for so long, and why he's so hard to beat. I don't think his striking is going to be what wins him this fight, but I think his striking has come along enough to stifle Belal, and I think that Belal's going to get hit more than he anticipates. And then when it does go to the ground, you know, he might take Maia down easily. But from there, I think Maia's going to go to work. He's a snake on the ground. This guy is known for getting people's backs. He's tapped out Carlos Condit. How many times have you seen that guy get tapped out? He finishes finishers. Like, Demian Maia is one of those guys who's like an underdog his whole career. You know, a lot of people might doubt him and doesn't have the most fun, exciting style. But if you're a true fight fan, you know, he does have an exciting style. This guy is unbelievable with things that he does. And I think that it's going to be too much for Belal. I think Belal is going to take a L in this one. I think he's doing a good job. I don't think he's going to lose bad, but I do think, you know, I don't think he has every tool in the bag to take out a guy who's been through what Demian Maia has. So cash versus trash, money on the table. We're going with Demian Maia in this one. This next fight, guys, I'm really excited for as well. You know, they were added onto the fight card to make a good fight card. Great. It was already going to be a good one. Now it's a great one. We got number 3 Leon Edwards taking on Nate Diaz. This is a bad motherfucker fight in itself. Both of these guys are lethal weapons. Both of these guys are extremely dangerous in all aspects. It's a question of, can Leon take out a top-tier talent like Nate Diaz? Is he on that level right now? I think the answer might be yes. You got to remember, Leon Edwards took on Kamaru Usman back in 2015. It was a tough fight. He ended up losing that fight. But he gave Kamaru a war. It was not an easy win for Kamaru, and it was an extremely close fight. With that being said, we only got to see him fight one time this year. It was against Belal Muhammad. You know, he had the eye poke. Things got a little bit crazy. They had to stop the fight. So we got to see a very limited version of Leon Edwards so far. Everybody knows what Nate Diaz is capable of. Nate Diaz is an absolute savage, and he fights to the death. Every fighter's favorite fighter. But which version of Nate Diaz are we going to see in this fight? Are we going to see the Nate Diaz who fought Rory McDonald and got literally dumped on his head multiple times and took on a beating in that fight? Or are we going to see the Nate Diaz that's going to beat the shit out of Edwards like he did Pettis and Donald Cerrone, who are also legends of the sport? I don't know. It's a tough factor. Two other things to take into consideration when you guys watch this fight. Leon Edwards has been on a long layoff. He's a big dude, and he looked good against Belal Muhammad. But Nate Diaz is not Belal Muhammad. And is Nate Diaz's scar tissue on his face going to be a factor in this fight? I think it is. I do think it's going to be a factor. Every time that dude fights, he gets his face split wide open. Eye gashes, multiple times. The scar tissue's there. McGregor 1. McGregor 2. Bad cuts. Jorge Masvidal, the fight ended because of a cut. So you guys have to take that into consideration. Nate is a very durable fighter, very precise striker, and an unbelievable grappler. When he engages in the clinch, he's constantly working. His fight style is so beautiful, and he loves to taunt his opponent. I think that's going to make a difference as well. Leon Edwards has fought everybody and destroyed them. The dude has been on a win streak for a long time. If I had to go cash versus trash for this one, it's tough, and I hate to do this, but I'm crumpling Nate Diaz up. I think he's going to get cut early. I'm tossing him in the trash. I think his cut's going to bleed, and it's going to be a problem from the beginning. I think Leon Edwards is going to be able to stand on the outside and strike with this guy. I don't think Nate Diaz is going to be able to take him down. The dude just looks too big and strong for old Nate Diaz to get him to the ground. And this is just me being a fan. I'm just going off of what I see. I don't think Nate's going to get the job done. I think he's going to put on a war. He's probably going to land some solid shots and get the crowd riled up. But at the end of the day, I think Leon Edwards is going to hold it down. I think he's going to get the W, and I think he's going to move on to a title shot. And in the co-main event of the evening, we got Deiveson Figueirdo versus Brandon Moreno 2. This is going to be a freaking action-packed fight. Both guys put on a killer performance in their first matchup. They were swinging for the fences. They tried to knock each other out. They tried to go for the finish in any way possible. It was probably fight of the year at this point. I really still think that. It was a great fight. But you guys got to remember, in that first fight, Figgy had to go to the hospital, some stomach infection in the middle of the night, literally the day before the fight. So that's what that man was dealing with, and still put on a performance like that. Brandon Moreno, I don't know how much he's going to improve his camp for this fight. I don't know how much progress you can make in around 6 months, 7 months. I don't know. Does he have the tools to figure it out? What I do know is Figueirdo is a killer finisher. What he did to Benavidez twice, what he's done to all the guys before him, the guy's a savage. I'm not saying he can't be beat, and he does leave openings, but when he lands, it makes a big difference in that weight class. You can see it affect the fighters immediately, and his grappling is no joke. If I'm going cash versus trash, obviously I'm going for Figueirdo. I mean, at this point, it's pretty obvious. I'm not just throwing Moreno under the bus. I think he's going to land. I think he's going to connect. But the fact that that man had a stomach infection in the middle of the night and still fought for the belt like that, dude, you already won. I think if you do it once, I can't imagine what you're going to do with a clean night's sleep, waking up, feeling fired up, ready to go. I really do believe he's going to get a second or third round knockout. If you had to take your money and put it on this fight, this is a no-brainer. In my eyes, I think Figueiredo is going to knock him out. I'm not saying Moreno's not going to put up a fight. I do believe that he's going to crack Figueirdo too. I just don't think he has the power to finish him. If I'm putting my money on it, I'm definitely going with Figgy. I think this guy at that weight class, he reminds me of like the Anderson Silva of that division now. I don't think there is a guy that's going to beat this guy. He's literally too good. And for the main event of this fight card, it's a pretty good one. We got Israel Adesanya versus Marvin Vittori. You know, the last time these guys fought, it was a real close split decision. Marvin Vittori has had a lot of success since that fight, and he's earned himself a position to be here. Israel Adesanya, you know, he's coming off of a loss to Blachowicz. It was a tough fight, and there seems to be a blueprint that people think they can use to beat him now. Marvin Vittori fits the description to be that guy. He's a really good wrestler, and that's exactly what he did to Kevin Holland. With that being said, I'm not too impressed about how he fought Kevin Holland. That dude came off of a 2-week notice, and you struggled to defeat him. Yeah, he has good striking, but you were getting ready for Darren Till. Darren Till has good striking as well. So it makes me believe you just wanted to grapple that whole time anyway. And if you're going to wrestle somebody and not go for a finish and not be able to put him away completely, I think you're going to struggle with somebody like Israel Adesanya. Adesanya belongs at 185. The guy should not be fighting at 205 unless he's going to move up like John Jones is doing and get his body into 205 shape. The dude is a 185 savage. He's taken out all of the competition, including Robert Whittaker, who I think is still one of the best 185ers ever. With that being said, in this match, you know, cash versus trash, I'm going to take Vittori and I'm going to crumple his ass up. I don't think he's going to get the job done against Izzy. Izzy is way too superior in the striking, and he's underrated for his takedown defense, especially after that Blachowicz fight. That's at 205. He wasn't even at the weight limit. So you have to take that into consideration. Cutting down to 185 and being strong and a killer that he is at that division, I don't think Vittori's going to be able to get in there and just do anything on him like that. I think Israel Adesanya is going to get a 3rd round KO by way of head kick or hands, either way. But if I had to put my money on it, 3rd round KO, Israel Adesanya. I think he's going to get the job done. I think he's going to put on a killer performance. I don't think that Marvin Vittori is going to touch him like a lot at all. I don't think he's going to be able to get in on him. I don't think he's going to be able to take him down. I think they're going to get into some clinch fights where Izzy's going to be able to throw elbows and knees, and they're going to separate. Vittori's going to be discouraged, and he's going to get teed off on. I really do believe it. It's going to be a lot like what happened to Paulo Costa. I think it's going to go a lot like that. So cash versus trash, Vittori in the trash can. We're going with Adesanya for this one. You heard it here from Mad Matty first. Those are my fight predictions for UFC 263. If you like this video, if I've made you some money yet, hit the like and subscribe button. Show me some support and love.
Haters talking shit, yeah, they breath stank. Walk up in the club dripping like I'm fresh paint. I can see through the facade like an x-ray.